Hey, Ryan from Gladius Offroad. Today we're going to be doing a factory Jeep tailgate badge removal. We're going to remove the tailgate, show you how to clean all the goo off of it. We're going to take and install a new Gladiator tailgate badge. I'm going to walk you through the tools and materials, show you how to do it and get a nice clean install. Stay tuned. So these are most of the tools needed. We need the Gladius Offroad lettering kit. QR code will actually take you right to the directions. It's included in every box. It'll show you how to use the templates, and it'll actually have this video on there as well. Razor blade, I don't use it much, but I keep an X-Acto knife around. Grease pencil for marking, or you can use tape, and I actually use both. It helps out. Some plastic tools help to pull the letters up. Tape measure, obviously, to measure everything out. Heat gun is real important for peeling the letters. My nut driver, along with a T40 and a T45 Torx to take off the tailgate. Windex for cleaning everything up. I will use a little bit of rubbing alcohol, sometimes diluted with water as well. And my secret weapon, off bug spray, is awesome for taking off the residue left over. So I start out with a heat gun, and I'm going to warm these up. I don't want them hot, but I want them warm enough that I can get that tape to peel. Some guys like to use fishing line. I don't like the line breaks constantly, and it just leaves as much mess either way. So I heat them, and I use plastic tools. I don't pry. You don't want to force the tool behind it and try to pry it off, pushing on the truck. I get it behind the lip, and I'm actually pulling out towards myself just enough to get it off. And once they get warm, they come a little easier, but you got to kind of take your time and let them get warm. Once they start getting warm, they come pretty easily. It depends on the temperature. If you're doing on a 90-degree day, they're going to come off pretty easy. Today is in the 30s, and that's snow that you see coming by the camera there. So it's pretty cold. Once we got it warmed up a little bit and got them going, they came off pretty easily. A lot of times I'll stick the tools behind it just to hold it away, and as you heat it, it'll actually kind of work itself off. You're going to get the goo or the tape left on there either way, whether you use tape or fishing line or not. So this works easier for me. Real time, maybe 15 minutes. As soon as the letters are removed, open the tailgate. We're going to pop off this wire on the left, the wire on the right, and then this bracket that holds the tailgate from coming off. Then in the middle is this plastic panel that hides your wiring. On the right hand side of that is a little clip you push towards the left, and that'll let that panel pop right out. You slide it to the right to pull it out, and you got both your connections for your camera and your third brake light. The one on the black one's pretty easy to come off. The white one always gives me a struggle. That's your rear camera wire. It's just a little teeny push thing there. You got to push down on it and then pull it out. Sometimes it takes a little bit of wiggling to get it out of there. Now your electrical is disconnected. You can jump over and pull off the bracket. That's a T40, one bolt. That just holds the tailgate from falling off. Then use a T45 to remove one wire. You're only going to do one at a time. You're going to have someone support the right side of the tailgate while you undo the left one so it doesn't fall, because it will go all the way down. Then to remove it, you're just going to angle it up, pull up towards you on the right hand side, and slide it towards the right to take it off. Now that we got it in the shop, I'm going to start heating this again and using my thumb to roll the tape off. It takes a little bit of time. You want to watch you don't burn your fingers. It's real easy to blister your fingers on it because you need to get it fairly warm. Gloves help. Rubber gloves like to rip right off, but a little leather glove helps. But just heat it and roll it as you go, and it'll come off fairly easily. It will leave some residue. Don't worry about that. We'll get to that in a minute. But this is the best method I've found for removing these and getting it off nice and clean. Real time, it's probably 20 minutes or so of doing this to get it off. Depends on the, again, on the temperature. We were in the shop where it was a little warmer, but when it's cold outside, I would not want to do this outside, that's for sure. Even with the heat, it wouldn't be fun. Once it's off, You can run your hand around and feel for little pieces. Most of it usually comes off in little chunks though, so it's pretty easy to get. But I do like to spray it down and give it a quick wipe down. It just gets any little pieces off or whatever. And I like to keep the area clean before I'm wiping. Now my secret weapon, the off bug spray. I spray it down and I just let it sit for 10-20 seconds. It's not long. You can do it again if you need to, but usually wipe it with a microfiber and the stuff comes right off. You'll be kind of amazed how easy it comes off. Real time for that was a minute. Now that that's off, I start placing the center template piece on. And I'm going to measure from the left and the right. I'm just trying to find center. This doesn't have to be perfect right here. I'm going to mark it with my little pencil, the grease pencil, just to mark a center point so I know it. I think it's 27 9/16, I believe. But I always measure it anyway because you never know if a tailgate's going to be different, more paint on the edges, who knows. So I measure it, I mark the top and the bottom, make sure they're both square, and then I'll mark the top. And that just gives me a line to go back to if I bump that template, move it, whatever. I have my lines to center it back up on again, which makes it a little easier in the as you go. Now I'm going to place the letter D and the I on there for right now. What that does, and they may be different depending on what lettering kit you got, but I set those on there. What I want to do is run a tape line across. So I want to get these pieces on there and measure them, and just to get them, make sure they're as close as I can to being level across there. You measure both sides of each letter of the D and the A and make sure that they're level there. And they don't have to be perfect, but you want to get them as close as you can because these are going to be the basic, the basis for your tape line. So once I get those measured, I'm going to grab my tape and I'm going to start and I'm going to lay it right underneath them, dead lined up with the outline of the letters. That way I know when I put that letter on there, if I line it up to that tape, it's going to be straight. And then what I'm going to do is take that same measurement from the letters and measure on the outside to make sure that it's straight. Nailed it. This side I'm going to do the same thing, and I didn't nail it, but I made it look like I did. Now I'm just going to lay the letters out there. This part is really unimportant other than the fact that I'm going to look at my line and look at my letters. I want to see if it actually looks straight on the vehicle. I've learned that being straight and looking straight are two different things, so I just want to get an idea to make sure my lines are good. And they are, so I'm going to start with my letter I. I'm going to peel the backing, and I'm going to hold that template, make sure it's dead center, and lay the I in there. This might seem complicated, but it's actually a really easy process because you're doing one letter at a time. You actually have a little bit of adjustment if you need to. You can tweak a letter a little bit to the either direction. Now I'm going to work to the left. You can go to the right first, it doesn't matter, but you always start from the center. I'm going to line my D up in the spacing template, which keeps it the right distance from the I, and then just line the bottom of the D up with the tape. And I'm going to stick it on. You don't have to go crazy sticking them here. We'll go back and push harder and warm them up a little bit here. Now when I get to that G, I need to move my tape down because you don't want to put the G on top of it since the G's drop. So you just peel the tape up, line it up with that G the same way that we did originally with the A and the D, and then you can lay your G on there, and that way you get that perfect drop down below. And then I'm going to start again on the other side with the A, the T, the O, and the R, working my way outwards. Same thing though, when I get to the R, I will peel that tape up, put the R on. I'm going to look at the top on this one just to make sure, but you're just lining it up, putting that on. Now all your letters are straight. Now I'm going to heat them, not hot. You can see how long I'm doing it. Just getting them warm, and I'm going to apply pressure to them. It's important to put more, or not more, but to make sure you get pressure at the top of the letters because that's the way the water runs down. You don't want water getting behind them. So you're just trying to apply nice even pressure, make sure that they're on there real good and warm so that glue sets real nice. This also makes it easier to remove the mask that's on the letters too. When it's cold, it's hard to remove them. Peel the mask off, and then I usually do a nice wipe down, make sure everything's clean, get my fingerprints off of it. And it's time to go back on the truck. This is simple. You just reverse the same, slide it in. It has to be at a certain angle there. You'll see the little slot. And then the passenger side will do the same thing, but make sure that wiring isn't hanging down, that it's inside the bed, or you'll have to take the tailgate off again. Ask me how I know that. As soon as it's on, have your buddy support the tailgate so you can get the first bolt on that side. And once that bolt's in, then you can let the tailgate all the way down without risk of damaging it. You have to lift up just a hair to get this one started. I use my hip to do that. And then I connect the tailgate keeper bolt, hand thread that one in, and then tighten it down. And then you have to reconnect your two wires. Start with the white camera one. It's just a little easier. Make sure they're snapped in real well. I usually, once they snap, I give it a little tug. And then repeat with the black harness. And then that panel slides in left end first. And then it just snaps in. Close the tailgate and you are done. If you want to get a tailgate badge for your truck, we do hundreds, literally hundreds of colors, lots of different fonts. We can do custom designs with your name that you want on it. Kind of the sky's the limit. So shoot us a message or check out our website and we'll get you taken care of. Thanks for watching.